Welcome to the neighborhood, Happy Hood the podcast, where we deliver meaningful content to grow your faith, well-being, and leadership skills. Hey neighbor, I'm your favorite neighbor, Jay Murray, lifestyle coach, inspiring others to develop self-worth through leadership applications that will enable them to live in purpose. Happy Hood the podcast.
Finish
Message.
what you started.
Happy Hood the podcast. I'm your favorite neighbor, Jay Murray. This is where we talk about everything from faith, well-being, and leadership. And today, family, we have another great guest on with us today. I want to welcome this brother. He is a coach. He is a speaker and author of Your Purpose Is Not For You. Please welcome to the neighborhood, Mr. Andrew Notice. How you doing, sir?
Man, I'm great, my brother. I'm great. Happy to be here, my brother. Absolutely.
That's what's up, man. I'm glad you're here all the way from Houston. Texas in the house. H-Town is in the house. As we were just kind of talking, family, he said, man, if you ever come out here, you may not want to leave. You know what I'm saying? So I got to make sure from the food to the good people, always hear good things about Houston. Andre, anytime I have someone on like yourself, just have so much expertise, and the author, I always love to get just a background of who you are, you know, kind of telling us a little bit about yourself. As we talk about your book, again, he's the author of Your Purpose Is Not For You, which is, I mean, the title of itself, you know what I'm saying? I'm definitely ready to get into that. But Andre, just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, my man.
Absolutely, man. I have a little introduction. I like to let people know that if you don't know, I'm the rhyming realtor for your dream home we need to buy or sell. I'm the purpose coach for those that feel like they're going through hell. I am the speaker here to motivate, encourage, and inspire. I'm a poet as well. I grab the mic to spit bars of fire. This book that I wrote, it's changing lives as well. A servant is what I am on a mission to serve, not sell. When it's all said and done, I help others reach their full potential. By helping them find their purpose to find true joy, it is essential. Andre Notice is my name and inspiration is who I be. It is true, I live to give, and you will notice me.
Oh, man, come on, man. I don't know if we do that or we clap it up. That's what's up, man. I love it, man. Hey, I didn't even tell in the opening, you know what I'm saying, give you some more, all the credentials, man. Like, hey, you got a poet here. I love that. I love that. Now you talk about the real estate, the speaking, and the book. I guess let's start here, because I think it would kind of provide some insight to how you got into these other areas.
Sure.
Why write a book about purpose?
Great question, man. So most people live and die and never even find out why they were even here because of fear. Well, if you want to know what you were created for, you got to go back to the creator. And the creator gave me the title for this book. And what I realized in my life was I kept running across individuals that had all these questions about life, all this unfulfillment, all this unsatisfactory actions, and just people just going through life aimlessly, you know?
Yeah.
But I wasn't, you know, I understood why I was here. I understood what I was supposed to be doing. And once you know, you have a responsibility. So when you know better, you do better. So as I knew and I understood that I had the questions to people's answers, then it was upon me to make sure that I put myself in a position that people can get those answers. So God gave me the title for that book.
Yeah. I would love to kind of, as you talk about, or as you mentioned, people had questions, you know, and we think about this, like unfulfillment, this unsatisfaction that they have over their life. Was there any questions that really stood out to you that you even pondered yourself? When people, you know, had questions about life or had questions about their purpose about life?
It would be more of statements about living life, but not really living life, more like it just existing.
Yeah.
Making statements like tired of getting up, going to work, working at a job they didn't want to be at, getting paid what they didn't want to get paid, just being unfulfilled in what it is that they're doing on their regular everyday life.
Yeah.
And I was starting to live a life that I really enjoyed and doing things that I really enjoyed doing. Even got to the point where I was driving the car that I wanted to be driving, so but it came at a cost, because I was one of those people. I do remember for a big portion of my life was spent in hardship, financial hardship, being homeless, sleeping in cars, sleeping on couches, sleeping on floors, all of those things. So even these questions that people would ask, I had those same questions.
Yeah.
But after I went through my transition, I began to get the answers that I had for myself. And I realized other people would still ask those same questions or still make those same statements.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just one of those things to where I took notice as to what was going on around me.
Yeah. Yeah. When you and family, I think this is going to be a great episode. So I don't know, like I think you need to sit back, get you your tea, your coffee. Hopefully you got a nice commute, you know what I'm saying, either to your destination. I think it's really going to be a good conversation here, because you're talking about something that really resonates with me, and it resonates with even the reason why I started Hapi Hood.
There it is.
It's something that Hapi Hood is a purpose-driven lifestyle brand,
Yeah.
And it's around these values that God, the creator, gave me as I was going through a transition in my life. And as I look back now, it was a growth.
Yeah.
It was a process, it was a growth. I was maturing in my faith. I was maturing as a man. I was maturing in my emotions,
Yeah.
And Andre, I'm curious to know, just when you think about and reflect about your transition, what stood out to you, or what helped you to shift your perspective, right? Or your mindset around, there's still something in me that I know needs to get out. I know this that I may be going through is not defining who I am.
Yeah. A couple of things. The first thing being, even from a young age, I would at times have people that I did not know, complete strangers, that would walk up to me, or I would meet, and they would prophesy over my life and say that I would have a calling or leadership or something. And these people, I didn't know who I was, but it would happen, from time to time. So that was the first thing. It planted a seed. I didn't know what these people were talking about, but it planted a seed. Then the next thing was the whole industry of personal development, which is doing what you have to do to grow yourself, namely your mindset. So constantly listening to, watching videos of, reading books of things that are going to feed my mind and my spirit. So
come on now.
People like Jim Rohn, Bob Proctor, Les Brown, Eric Thomas, Tony Robbins, Earl Nightingale. The list goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
And when I found myself going through situations that I did not want to be in, it was that whole personal development industry and arena that really shifted my mindset to see that, hey, I'm going through hardships right now, but this is just not my right now. Yeah. What I'm going through right now does not dictate what I will experience in my future. My past does not dictate my future.
Yeah.
And that's what really kept me going. That's what really shifted my mind to see that greater is on the other side if I never gave up. because you're not a failure when you fail. You're a failure when you give up. And I was never going to allow myself to give up.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. When I think about, man, okay, I gotta let this stuff marinate, family. I'm trying not, because again, you can't. I don't want to just kind of just quickly just gloss over some certain things that you said. And I want to take. We're going to take our time today, family. We're going to take our time.
Yeah.
Something that you mentioned, man. And I want to get your thoughts, because I've been thinking about this. And I'm reading this book by Steve Leader, A More Beautiful You. And it's talking about suffering. And it's talking about how suffering, it's almost like the joy of suffering and how it transforms you internally. And I'm curious to know, man, when you was going through those moments of suffering and kind of reflecting back, do you often think about or have appreciation of going through those moments?
100%. Not while I'm going through them, though.
Yeah, totally.
But afterwards, yeah, because a mature person would understand that the things that you go through is only going to grow you. It's a choice to grow through what you go through. You know? And the thing about it is I believe that life is one big test comprised of small tests. And what people don't understand about life is a test, and to the degree that you don't pass the test, you shall repeat it.
Yeah.
And what most people are going through in life is they're repeating the same test, same cycles over and over and over again because they've never passed the test.
Come on now.
So, for instance, a person will keep dating the same person in a different body with a different name. Same character traits. Why? Because they are attracted to that person because they have not passed the test. They go through the same thing in life, in their careers, in their parenting, no matter what it is. If you do not pass the test, you shall repeat it. So I had to learn that if I want to get myself out of the situation, because no matter what situation you go through, it's not your fault that you're in that situation at some point, sometimes.
Yeah.
But it is your fault if you stay there. It's not your fault that you were born poor. It's your fault if you die poor. So really, you can sit here and try to make excuses, or you can stand up and make adjustments. You know, so I like to make sure that people understand that the very first step to success, in my opinion, is desire. You got to want it. And once you want it, you have to develop the mindset, because the mindset is going to have a direct impact on you taking the right actions. And I was not going to allow myself to stay where I was and not live a life of fulfillment, because if I believe in God and God is success, He cannot create me as His son and I not be a success.
Totally.
So if I'm not successful, it's not God's fault. So whose fault is it?
Yeah. It's amazing when you think about it, to your point of getting back up and making those adjustments. There's a quote, I don't know who said it, but I always remember one of my peers at work used to say this to me, and I have said it to now my kids, is that lessons will continue to be in front of you until you are ready to pass them. You know, lessons will continue to come until you are ready to pass them. They'll continue to present themselves to you until you are ready to pass them. And that always stuck out to me, because until you are ready to pass them, right? as I think about my process, I think about as my journey as an entrepreneur, as I think about my journey as a man, as I think about my journey as a God fearing man, as I think about my journey as a husband, father, I I I I'm still learning the same lessons, but it's a more deeper appreciation of them because I had to understand that sometimes my readiness was not on my timetable, but God's timetable. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
and that's the part where I had to really understand that and really like to your point, as it's one thing to kind of continue to move through things, and then there's another where I'm learning how to sit in it and really understand it of
Yeah.
what I'm doing, right?
Right.
And really what is the actual lesson that I'm looking to learn, you know? Um, wow, man, this is rich. This is very, very rich, man.
Yeah, because
I
you
I
said something in there, and the thing about it is you reach a state of growth when you stop asking why. So when you go when something happens, I don't want to say to you, when something happens for you,
yeah,
not to you, when something happens for you, when you stop asking why is this happening to me, why me,
yeah,
and you start asking what am I supposed to learn from this situation, that's when you've grown. You're growing.
yeah. And that's the shifting
Yeah.
of your mindset.
Right.
That's the
It's all
shifting.
perspective. It's all
Yeah,
on how you choose to see things.
it's all yeah, totally, man. That's totally, and that's to your point of that desire and that mindset, of definitely developing those areas. I'm curious to know this, man. As you have went through certain things, and now, as you say, to walk in this success and to walk into this way of thinking, was there a process of healing that you had to go through?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's part of the process. And
Yeah.
to be honest, one of the things I had to heal was my heart emotionally when going through a situationship that didn't go as planned.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the hardships that we go through come from dealing with other individuals.
Yeah.
Oftentimes,
Yeah.
and nobody's responsible for your healing but you.
Man. Whoo. Come on now. That
Yeah,
no one's responsible for your healing but you.
yeah. You can sit there and point the blame all you want, but man, look, I love you. I just met you and I love you and already. No matter how much I love you, brother, I can't do your push-ups for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to do your own push-ups.
Yeah.
You got to heal your own self.
Yeah.
There's just some things you just got to break down and do it yourself.
Yeah. That's you know what, man? I think one of the biggest things that helped me, again, we think about like as I'm saying it, living in your purpose, being intentional, and understanding that these gifts and talents that the creator, I love how you put that, the creator provided to you, of
Yeah,
your responsibility to get them out. Once you
yeah,
understand that, and once from my healing process, it was me getting to a point of acceptance.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that part, man, it was so hard
yeah,
because it was pride built up.
yeah,
As I reflect now, it was like, I'm not hurting. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm good. But it was to a point where I remember, man, um, it was, I remember so vividly. Like, I was taking my daughter to school, and there was a homeless guy across the street, and he said, "Yo, you got anything?" And I said, "I don't got nothing, man." At that point, I wasn't speaking physically. I was speaking emotionally and spiritually. That I got nothing to give you. And I'm telling you, man, is no other than I can think of the Holy Spirit saying, good. Now you have emptied yourself out and accepting that I'm broken and accepting that I'm hurting and accepting that, there's some things that I have not completely got over, some shame, and that part there, man, when we kind of think about that process, you said like desire and mindset, that process helped me to develop that mindset, man.
Yeah.
Because I had to go through a process of releasing,
right,
emptying out all these things, right? All these things, and now being able to be filled back up with the joy of God, to be filled back up with understanding my identity, to be filled back up with understanding, oh man, I got gifts and talents in me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That the Creator put in me. You know what I'm saying? If I was made by the creators in the Creator's image, then I was created to create.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So allow me to do that, man. So it's phenomenal, man. As you mentioned, just the moments of understanding and shifting your mindset is so important, man.
It is, but the reason why many people can't get there is because of what you just said. So I wrote a book. Actually, they have it here. You know who that brother is?
Les Brown.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
a book with Les Brown. The title of my chapter is Andre's 5 A's to Bigger, Better, Brighter Days. So it's how to change, how to get from where you are right now to where you want to go.
Okay.
And what you just spoke to was the second A, because they're in chronological order. The very first A to change is awareness. You can't change a situation that you're not aware of.
Not aware of.
But what you talked about was the second A. After you're aware, comes the second A, and that's accountability. Most people never get to where they want to go because they never take accountability. They're constantly blaming somebody or something else. Oh, I had this trauma from my past. Oh, I had this happen. I went through that. The moment that you keep pointing the finger at something or somebody else, you are not a candidate for change. Because whatever you point the finger at has the power, which means you are powerless.
Powerless. You
can only become powerful when you accept, hey, I am where I am right now because of me.
Yeah.
Nobody else but me. Yeah. Yes, that thing happened in the past. Yes, I was molested. Yes, I was abused. Yes, I went through financial hardship. But I still am where I am right now because of me.
Yeah.
And if you can't take that accountability, if you can't come to a conclusion and say it's me, then you're not a candidate for change. You're going to stay where you are or even sink, unfortunately.
I'm curious to know the three other A's, man.
You got to get the book. You got to get the book. The first two are free. The first two are free.
I love it. Got to get the book. Got to get
the book.
Family, we'll make sure that we'll put those links in the podcast notes so we can go definitely get the book. And that's a true salesman right there. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you got to go get the book. You got to go get the book.
Absolutely.
Andre, if we kind of shift back to the book that you authored, and I don't think we touched on this, and this has been a really rich conversation. Again, you listen to Hapi Hood the podcast. I'm your favorite neighbor, Jay Murray. I'm here with Andre Notice, author of Your Purpose Is Not For You. Why the title?
Man, that ain't got, you asking the wrong one. That ain't got nothing to do with me. God gave me that title 7 years ago. And I didn't even put the pen to the paper until 2021. He gave me that title. I didn't come up with that title. I could not have come up with that title. I think it's genius, but it wasn't me.
Yeah.
And what's funny is I remember he confirmed it too. I remember I was asked to speak on a panel, some relationship symposium, because I talk about relationships sometimes as well. And there was a young lady sitting in the audience. Never met this lady before. Didn't know who she was. She was not even supposed to be there. She had actually just found the event on Eventbrite, decided to come, and she was going through a tough time. And up until that point, she was praying and asking God, God, why am I going through so much? This is like, why am I going through so much? And God answered her and said, because your purpose is not for you. The very next day or week, she showed herself up to a symposium, saw me on stage, and found out the title of my book and was floored. Because the title of my book is the same answer that God had gave her the night before. And when she walked up and told me that, man, I almost burst out in tears. I was like, wow.
Sit back and think about that. I mean, the title itself, it's very thought provoking.
It is.
It's very it's reflective. Because when I see that title, your purpose is not for you. I mean, I can't help but to think about Jesus and
100%.
and what Jesus did for us.
You see the bottom of my shirt right here?
Stand up a little bit. Servant. Come on, man. At all of those things, as
The
you
bottom
go
line.
down,
The
ego,
bottom line. The bottom line.
servant.
That's it. That when Christ came, that's all he did. That's all he did. He served. That's all we're placed on this earth to do is love. And the best word to show love is to give, aka serve.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And God gets the glory. That's it.
Yeah.
But ego gets in the way. Ego is a man. Look,
You know what? It's a mother, right? Because look,
it is.
it's like ego. When I say ego, it's not like, oh, I want the glory. But maybe I'm saying this as I'm thinking about it. It's the ego. Sometimes I had to come to this understanding of quality over quantity.
Mm-hmm.
Because my ego which says, man, I should be doing more. I should be having these amount of downloads and these amount of subscribers and we should be selling these amount of shirts. You know what I'm saying? I should be doing all this and everything. And guys had to sit me down like, I want you to worry about the quality. I don't care if it's 2 or 3 people that's listening. You make sure that you serve them. You serve them. And that is part of like the ego. You right, man. Because our ego will have us comparing ourselves to others.
Yeah. All day long. That's the danger of social media right there.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have us comparing ourselves to others, man. And that's another thing, dude. I had to really think and contemplate on that, because when we compare ourselves, man, it's like it is truly taking us down an unhealthy route, you know, a downward spiral.
You miss it because you miss it. Yeah. What I mean by you miss it is you've forgotten what you're here for, and that's the reason why. That's the reason why I'm not real big on titles.
Come on, leadership is not a title, but a choice. Come on, man.
Because people who want to call me minister, and I know, just call me brother, because what a title does, it feeds the ego. And what happens is, over time, as you keep hearing that title, not everybody, but for some individuals, over time, you forget what you were ultimately here to do, and that's serve.
Yeah.
That's it. Even Christ, when he came and he washed their feet. He humbled himself. Mm-hmm. You know? So I'm not real big on titles, because it's all about humility. It's all about serving.
Yeah. What do you think? So I'm huge on servant leaders. I have a deep compassion for them. Not only because I'm one, but because I was raised by two servant leaders.
Yeah.
My mom and father. My father was a preacher. My mom preached right with him, pastor
Yeah.
churches,
Right.
and seeing them how they served others and how they led others, I would never forget that, because that's who I am. It's ingrained to me. It's part of my DNA.
Right.
But one thing that I had to learn through them, and even kind of get a better understanding of, when you're serving, you're always emptying out. You're always emptying out. And if you don't take the time to refill yourself,
Burnout.
you burn out, man. And I'm curious to like, from your perspective, like, how do we maintain that? What certain things can we do as servant leaders to make sure that we maintain our fire, to maintain our ability to pour out? Because that's what we're doing. It's in our ability. It's our innate ability to do this. However, the other side of it, that we don't take time to refresh ourselves,
Right.
to serve even more effectively. Now we serving rotten fruits.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's a great question, and I'll answer your question. There's a couple of things you can do. Number one, the very first thing you need to do is have a vision. The vision asks a simple question: why? Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
And that vision should be written down. Why are you doing this? Why do you get up in the morning?
That's your anchor.
If you're getting up in the morning for any other reason, let me rephrase that. If you're getting up in the morning and all you have an objective to do is to pay bills, take care of your family, you missed it. Go back to bed. That's the first thing. The second thing is, and I go through this in detail in my coaching program, actually, but there are 6 or 7 different aspects to your physiology that need to be fed on a regular basis. You have your spiritual self, your physical self, your intellectual self, your creative self, your emotional self, and your social self. You need to feed each aspect of your physiology regularly. The moment one aspect of that physiology has not been fed is when you start to experience burnout. I make sure to feed pretty much every aspect of that every single day. And that's because people always ask me, how do you always have so much energy? How are you always so positive? How are you always giving and because I'm always filling myself up. I understand who I am. I understand that I'm an extrovert. I get energy from being around people. I understand that. I understand who I am. So because I understand who I am and where I am, I understand what I need to do to make sure that I keep myself filled on every aspect of that physiology, so that I do not allow myself to get on empty. Because if I'm no good to myself, I can't be good to anybody else. And too many people right now are going through life pouring from an empty cup. They're empty, but they keep on giving. They keep on pouring. Keep on giving, because they haven't realized that they need to make time for themselves. Sometimes it's just taking a break. Sometimes you have to learn to say no.
Come on now.
Sometimes no is not even no. Sometimes no is not right now. Not yet. But sometimes it's just no. And some people have built up such a habit and gotten so accustomed to saying yes to everybody else that they've said no to themselves. So you have to learn to build a habit to feed each aspect of your physiology regularly.
What you just said, like, caught me. When you just said that You so used to saying yes to everybody else that you say no to yourself. Like, I think we all, and I'm thinking about myself, have been there. Like I say,
Well, I mean, I don't know. There's some people that have, so the opposite of that is a narcissist.
mm-hmm.
But the difference is they manipulate
Yeah,
to where they get the yes, but they don't feel any consideration for others.
yeah,
So there are individuals who are constantly taking and taking and taking and don't
yeah,
even realize they don't even realize it.
yeah. I think one of the biggest things, like to your point, like when I think about that, is what screams out to me is the lack of boundaries
Yes, and balance.
and
And
boundaries.
balance.
You
And I
know,
think like people talk about a work-life balance all the time. I hear a
mm-hmm.
lot of talk about a work-life balance. In my mind personally, a work-life balance does not mean 50-50 to me
Yeah,
personally.
yeah, yeah. You're right.
Work-life balance just basically means you're getting enough work to get things done and enough life to get things done that work for you personally. So for me, that could be 60-40. For you, it could be 70-30. For the next person, it could be 80-20.
Yeah, it
But you're
looked good
getting
for
enough that
everybody. Yeah,
works for you. It
yeah.
doesn't have to mean 50-50, in my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's and man, that's so true because what works for you may not work for me.
Exactly. There are people go on and talk about people, man, you can't make it to six figures or multi-figure unless you're working 80 hours. That's not true.
Yeah.
That worked for you. If I
No,
work 90 hours in a week, I'm falling asleep at the wheel, literally.
you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Literally.
And
So look, I think it's dangerous to tell people things like that because we're
yeah,
all different.
because is to your point, all you on is it's like you just keep going, you keep going, you keep going,
Fumes. Yeah.
and you're not anchoring to like, why am I doing this? Because you may, and this is where I had to really come understand, like, stop trying to fit what was success for someone else be your success,
Right.
because you have to define your success. Because I be honest with you, not honest with you, but like as I thought about it, and this is what people don't like when, especially with comparing, right? This is where like I had to really come to understanding. Just because you see somebody else with 5 streams of income and you say, hey, I want 5 streams of income, you may not understand, and while that's, you may see it as a blessing, the burden on the other side of that. Because now you talking about, you really gotta have maybe 2 or 3 accountants. Now you really got to be understanding how you operating with yourself and what type of work-life balance you have. Now you really got to make sure that you scheduling time for the wife. It's no more
Right.
of
But
like we
another
can just casually go out. No, you know what I'm saying? Because you know how much more comes with that.
right. But another thing about that is what people don't understand about when you look at other people like that, you didn't factor in the fact that that person has no kids.
Yeah,
You didn't
yeah.
factor in the person. You didn't factor in the fact that that person has no wife.
Has no wife. Yeah,
You didn't even factor in the fact that that person started off with one, got one going, then went to the other. They didn't build all five at the same time.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And
Context.
that's the thing about, and you didn't factor in that person's been doing it for 20 years. You only been doing
Right.
this for 3 years. Stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, that don't like, and when you really start to understand that and analyze that, you like, oh, let me make sure I focus on my purpose. Let me make sure I understand my why. Let me
Yeah.
make sure that I anchor to that, because if you don't, you're gonna be drifting. I think about that boat as an anchor, a boat. That anchor helps the boat to be stationary, you know, in the water. Without that, you're drifting.
Yeah.
You drift and you're going from
Yeah.
places to places,
Yeah.
areas to areas, and you're not being stationary. You're not being focused
That's
on
it.
what needs to be done.
Yeah. Too many multitaskers.
Too many.
Which
Too
is one of the
many.
worst things that you can do is multitask.
Yeah, and
Because you're training your brain and your body not to focus.
not to focus, not to focus. You know, and I is funny because I'm with my like my son and my daughter, like even with them, I see them at times, especially my daughter, she's in middle school, where she would have the TV on, music in the ear, trying to do work. And I like, baby girl, you know, now sometimes, yeah, she still makes good grades. But then sometimes I'm like, well, you got this grade on this test. I mean, this may be evidence, proof of concept that you may need to change the way that you study. You know, you may be, because again, you may be as you go up, to different levels, if you want to call it that, it's going to take more commitment, more discipline. The discipline that you had yesterday, yeah, it got you here. It got you here. And let's clap for that. But being here is not going to get you there. What got you here is not going to get you there. And that's something I had to understand. Like this year, my word for the year is committed. And I'm telling you, man, like that one word in which we do it every year, our family do it. It always like it just I'm my perspective changed so much because I'm understanding a different level of commitment. I'm understanding the consistency, some of these underlining things, you know, persistent, you know, time management, all the what to be committed to. I can't be committed to everything.
Yeah. Yeah. You having three number ones.
Yeah. Like, come on.
Like how many? I got a question for you. How many point guards at a time how many point guards on the court at one time per team?
There's one.
I mean, just one. I mean, you could have two if you want to, but I guarantee the other one playing shooting guard.
He playing shooting guard, right?
How many quarterbacks are on the field at one time?
There's one.
Just one.
There's one.
That's it.
And that, man, it's so woo. That's so important, man. Woo. So, fam, again, we talking to Andre Notice. You listen to Happy Hood, the podcast. I'm your favorite neighbor, Jay Murray. So we talked about the mindsets, the desire. When you're talking to people, and even people that's listening to this podcast, man, like, how do you walk in your purpose? We talked about mindset. What's another thing or practice or steps help people to really walk into their purpose and understand your purpose is not yours?
You really got to pay attention. Most people don't really pay attention. So we're creatures of habit. And because we're creatures of habit, we go through life day to day doing the same things every single day. And the reason why we're doing the same things is because we're thinking the same thoughts.
Yeah.
And if you want to change your life, you got to change your mind. If you want to change your mind, you got to change your words.
Thoughts.
Change your words, change your world. And we don't understand the power of our words. We don't understand the power of our minds. We say that we understand that there's power, but we don't. If we really understood and believe that, you would be very cautious every word that comes out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Every thought that comes across your mind. Because as you think, you create. And as you speak, you act. So it really comes down to being more intentional with what you allow yourself to watch, what you allow yourself to listen to. Because what that allows you to do is be present. And once you're present, you can pay attention to what's around you. You can pay attention to interactions, information. You can pay attention to what you're good at. One of the things that you should know is, what are your gifts? Most people can't tell you what their gift is. But what is a gift? A gift is something that comes easy, comes natural to you but doesn't come natural to everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So once you have a gift and you understand your gift, it doesn't mean that you've arrived because you know what your gift is. If you do know your gift, it's your responsibility to cultivate that gift.
Mm-hmm.
I never one time took any speaking courses, but I'm a speaker. It came easy to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I cultivated the gift by doing what? Speaking. Getting on as many podcasts and stages and opportunities that I can. Speaker speak. I got like when I'm in the gym, shooter shoot. Speaker speak. So I'm getting my reps in. They say you want with Steph Curry shooting in the gym. You got to get the reps in.
You got to get the reps in.
Right. So whatever it is that you're gifted in, you have to cultivate that gift.
Come on, man.
And that's going to bring you one step closer to what your purpose in, because your purpose is not going to be in doing something that you're not gifted in.
Yeah.
And the thing about your gift, use it or lose it.
Mm-hmm.
Because opportunities aren't lost. They go to somebody else.
Yeah. Because so many times, like, I mean, it's like God, okay, God be like, you don't want to do it, I get somebody else to do it.
That's it.
Because at the end of the day, it's going to come to fruition.
Right.
Yeah. Two things.
Yeah.
I've been on this thought, right, and it's still, I'm still articulating it. So just bear with me. But you said something that really sparked it. The thought again of a purpose, right? And I have been looking at it from this perspective, because I think at times we get misconstrued when we view it as a destination.
Yeah, it's not a destination.
It's not a destination.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying? I think it's not a destination, and I think it's almost, but yet it is the navigation. You know what I'm saying?
It's a journey.
It's a journey. It's like the navigation system that you use based on understanding your why, based on understanding your desires, based on understanding what's feeding your mind.
Yeah.
That's going to continue to get you there, right?
Yeah.
It helps to navigate. It helps to set boundaries, because if it's not centered around my around my why am I doing it?
Right.
You know? So that's the first thing. The second thing, and I'm family. One thing that Andre said as he talked about those 5 A's to change. And again, we're going to put all the links to the books in the podcast podcast notes. So, click on them. Definitely go support. We're going to have his website as well. But one thing you said about awareness around change, and this kind of goes back to the mindset that I had to understand, is when you said your thinking powers your creation. Okay, let's talk about understanding we're all born to create. Yeah. And we're all creating things every day.
Every day.
So the question becomes, are you creating something positive?
Yeah.
Or are you creating something negatively?
Right.
Because I had to think about it, or I had to be aware of, like, oh, I need to be really understanding or watching what I'm listening to.
Yeah.
Musically.
Yeah.
I need to be understanding what I'm feeding my mind.
Yeah.
Scrolling on the internet.
Yes.
Twitter, social media, whatever the new name, I don't forgot. You know what I'm saying? All these things. Oh, that's why I'm creating and speaking and now acting in this behavior.
You get it.
Been feeding yourself.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Oh, I've been listening. Oh,
yes, sir.
I can't. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, that's a little bit too much for me. I'm gonna have to. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I can't be watching that. Or I got. That's when you talk about, these are practical steps. When you take a thing about awareness and how, again, taking accountability, right? And understanding how you're going to shift your mindset.
Yeah.
Again, it begins with thoughts. Shifting your mindset, you're gonna have to feed your thoughts differently.
Yes, sir.
You
You
have to
got it,
feed
brother.
your thoughts differently.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something, man. And again, when I say it's something I have to practice. Cause I have to think about that even now. Cause yeah, sometimes I like some little ratchet music. You know, I like every now and then listen to certain things. You
Yeah.
know,
The flesh likes it. But let
yeah.
me but let me tell you but let me tell you what's interesting though.
Mm-hmm.
As you continue to grow spiritually,
Yeah.
some of the things that you used to like, you lose an appetite for.
You lose your appetite. Come on, man. Come on, bro. Like, and
Some of the places that you used to go to, you don't want to go no more. Some of the things that you hear and watch, I just can't do it no more.
I can't do no more.
But
I,
that's if you continue to grow.
yeah.
Most people, they stop growing.
Yeah, and woo, and that's the thing about it. That you said, like, far as the flesh. That's one thing I had to understand when I finally overcame pornography.
Praise God.
Was the understanding that little things that I will watch on TV. Again, understanding what you're feeding yourself will spark the creation. Now, will spark these actions, of what I would, based on what I was watching, right?
Yeah.
And
Subconsciously, you don't even realize it.
yeah, exactly. But to your point now, to where it's now so, and again, when I'm being full transparency, there's areas where it's definitely distasteful, where the appetite for it has definitely went away, but I'm still understanding that I still have this flesh. So when something piques my eye, I'm like, oh, I gotta understand that's my flesh. So what I'm saying, family, is as you overcome these things, understand that your flesh is just acting out as it was designed to do.
Yeah. Your
That
flesh is still
doesn't
fleshing.
mean that you surrender to it,
Right.
right?
Right.
Is going back to that awareness and that accountability. I'm aware of my flesh. I'm aware of certain things on TV I can't watch because it brings back too many memories.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
one thing, man, I'm gonna say this, man, because it's a testimony. My wife, and this kind of goes back to I'm currently working with a mental health coach. And this is why, again, family, it's so critical that you take time to really build your mental health. But I learned this technique called chain analysis, where it helps you to trace back your thoughts, right? To understand how did you or why did you act out in that way? What thoughts kind of drove that behavior, right? So you kind of think about what was the behavior, what was the feelings, what was the emotions or the thoughts that drove all those things. And as you do that chain analysis, you're getting to a point where, oh, the root cause is that I was vulnerable. My vulnerability was exposed. So my wife goes out of town, family, and she goes out of town for work. It was like a couple weeks ago. And I remember the last time she went out of town to work, I stumbled and went on some sites. This time, I'm getting the same feeling. But then based on doing that chain analysis, I understood, oh, I was lonely. So what did I do, family? I started reading the Bible. I started talking to God. And right then and there, again, what is feeding your thoughts? Because I couldn't keep I could keep looking at TV and looking at late night things and everything like that, because that would created the wrong actions from those thoughts. I had to now feed my thoughts with, okay, yeah, let me go ahead and open the Bible up, pray, even talk to God. Hey, God, I'm kind of lonely. And right there, soothing. Right there, like, hey, it's okay. That's just your flesh. Yeah, you're right. It is just my flesh. Like, it ain't me. That doesn't define who I am and what you had called me to be. That's not my identity. And and that of itself, man. Just kind of, I had to say that, man, because just what you had said and just what was kind of really stirring me up. Feeding your thoughts, man, when it comes to shifting your mindset and being aware and holding yourself accountable and like, oh yeah, are you aware of your flesh? Are you aware of your weaknesses?
That's real.
That part right there, once you understand that, now you're able to, let me hold myself accountable. Look, let me cut this off. Let me open up the Bible. Let me change the music.
Yeah. That's real, man. What I'm saying? That's real.
And from there, you starting to shift. You pivoting your thoughts right there. You pivoting your thoughts right there, man.
Because your actions have a direct impact on your thoughts. Your words do, your actions do.
Yeah.
But I commend you for that, and I have a lot of respect for you being able to be transparent about that, man, because it's not easy to do. So I commend you for that, and I'm proud of you, man. But what I want to make sure that people understand is when you are battling the flesh or those thoughts or wherever the case may be, addictions, whatever it is, what you don't want to do is nothing.
Come on now.
You want to do something.
Come on.
So it's not that you cut it off and do nothing. No, you replace those urges with something positive, something healthy. Yeah. So for instance, if you find yourself getting in that moment, drop down, do 20 push-ups.
Yeah.
You do something that's going to shift your focus. And when you do something physical, it has a direct impact on your mental and your emotional and your all of that. It's all connected. It all runs together. You may want to take 20 laps around the block. I don't know. Whatever it takes, but just understand that you do something.
Yeah.
Something positive, something helpful, something that's going to be healthy for you. But I commend you, and that's what you did. You turned that energy, and you didn't dispose of it. You redirected it.
Redirected that energy. Come on, man.
And that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. That's cool, man. Again, talking to Andre Notice, man. I guess kind of leaving with this thought here, man, and like if you can speak to those individuals, to the individuals that's listening to this podcast that maybe, to your point, have been saying those type of statements about life and about purpose and trying to understand, trying to navigate what's my purpose and just kind of maybe going through some moments of difficulty. Like, I want you to kind of speak directly to them. Like, what do you say to help them, man? Or if you can speak directly to them now.
The first thing I want to tell you is understand that everybody has a story. This is just your story. And the beautiful thing is you have the power to change the story and to finish it however you want to finish it. So I would encourage you to do this. However you want that story to end, think it and then ink it. Write it down, literally. Take out a sheet of paper, take out a notepad, write down specifically 5 years from now, I am, and then you write that down. And once you write that down, you write it down in, first of all, you write down in I am, in the present tense, not I'm going to be, not I will be. No, I am. The word of God says I am. So you're going to say I am. Once you write it down, I want you to read that every single day. Just take 2 minutes, write it down, read it, think about it, and begin to feel as if you are already in that situation right now.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait till you have $1 million in the bank to become a millionaire. You're a millionaire when you decide to become a millionaire. It all starts with how you think. Again, God made you successful. You cannot fail. You're ready to succeed. And I'm here to help you do it.
Come on, man. Andre Notice. Come on. Come on, dude. Love it, man. Where people can find you, man. Tell us, some of your handles, website that people can get in contact with you, man.
Absolutely, man. I'm very easy to find. My last name is Notice, not Ice, just like the word Notice is my real last name. So Andre Notice, you can Google me. You can my Instagram handle is actually You Will Notice Me. The letter U will notice me. But if you Google Andre Notice, I'll pull up, or you go to AndreNotice.com, noticeandre.com, and I'm real easy to find. Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Google. I'm easy to find.
Cool. Again, I want to thank you for coming on the podcast, from sharing your expertise. It's been enjoyable. It's been a rich conversation. Hopefully, family, you have learned something. You can take something to really drive your purpose, because you know what? You were created for greatness. Okay.
Yep.
But no matter what life brings you, always love God, love yourself, love your neighbor. I'm your favorite neighbor, Jay Murray. Till next time, be blessed.